Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This Shabbos is a very special Shabbos. Shabbos Yivarchim Kislev. The Shabbos which blesses the month of miracles. Shabbos of the Kinnis HaShluchim of the annual conference of Chabad rabbis, and Shabbos Chevron. Even though we're not in, there won't be an official Shabbos Chevron this year, as the Chabad rabbis of Chevron and the organizers from Chevron are all in the reserves. It's not a time in Israel to have large congregations in Chevron, but we'll be celebrating Shabbos Chevron over here in Miami. We have a very grand luncheon tomorrow, celebrating this very special Shabbos. And the reason why it's Shabbos Chevron is because it's the Shabbos in which Abraham purchases the site for Sarah, the cave of Machpelah. He doesn't want to even take it for free, because he doesn't want anyone to ever question its validity or question the ownership of Hebron, which has been on the forefront of one of the questions, of course, through the many years. Even though Hebron was conquered by the Jewish people, and it was retaken by the Jewish people in 67, it was given by Hashem, and it was purchased by Avram. Nevertheless, as we know, that doesn't suffice for the world. It's a very unique Shabbos, as it's a Shabbos that blesses the month of miracles. The month of Kislev is a month of light, and God willing, we're going to have tremendous miracles in this month for our soldiers and hostages in the land of Israel. And we know that we need it more than ever. We need a Hanukkah miracle, and God willing, we'll be able to celebrate another holiday at the end of this month, or at some point in this month, with a victory very shortly. It's a very unique parsha. It's the parsha in which we find that Yitzchak and Yishmael come together, but they come together at a very difficult time, and that is at the passing of Avram. And so Abraham passes, and Yishmael then shows up 70 years later. Remember, last week's Torah portion is when Yishmael is banished by Sarah because of his tremendous negative activity in front of Isaac. And Avram actually says, it's an interesting medrash, it says Avram goes to visit him 2 times. And both times he's not there. Both times he's not available. It says that even Avram hides himself because Yishmael was embarrassed. He doesn't announce himself. And he still hears that he's there and he runs away. Only does he come back 70 years later, 7 decades later, at the time of the funeral. And it's a very powerful idea that we see way too many times. And that is, unfortunately, many people, they don't learn to make up until there's a terrible tragedy. We don't learn to be friends again and be unified until we go through a very significant tragedy in our lives, whether it's a death of a family member. You'll find family members that don't get along or won't talk to each other. When it comes to a Shiva, then they'll come together, then they'll unite. And it's unfortunate, because why do we have to wait for a tragedy to unite? We're seeing this right now with the incredible resurgence of unification of the Jewish people in Israel. When we were there last week, 2 weeks ago already, a week and a half ago, there's signs everywhere. There's no right and there's no left. It's one nation, Amecha Belevecha, one heart and one nation. Unfortunately, it took a tragedy to bring us together. And so this is a call of action as we're going into this more than 1 month into the war. It's time to make peace with anyone that you may have had a challenge with, or you may have, it says that the difference between adults and children, they get upset at each other, and and 15 minutes later they're best friends. Adults say, I won't talk to you, and they still won't talk to each other 5 years later. Why? Because children would rather be happy than to be right. But an adult, we have to be right. And therefore we can never give up that anger and that grudge that we have against each other. And so sometimes God gives us a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call for the Jewish people more than ever. We need to make up, and not just as a people, but we need to make up as families. So if you know someone that you can be inspired to help to make up with their family, make up yourself with a family member, make up with someone in your community that you may have had a conflict with, it's time to realize that this is all as they did in Israel. We don't fight against each other. We have a common enemy, and it's not us. And so this is the time to strengthen ourselves, and we do that by uniting ourselves. And so if you haven't had the opportunity yet, this is the time to unite, and in honor of what's going on in Israel and our soldiers, when we're Am Echad, B'Lev Echad, one heart and one nation, B'Yachad Ninatzeach. Together we be victorious. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And we'll see you in Shul tonight. We change the clock at 6 p.m. Evening services, and tomorrow morning at 10:30, followed by a grand Kiddush and Fabring in honor of, it will be on our rooftop, in honor of Shabbos Chevron and Shabbos L'Shlochim.